IBG News Let's Talk Business Series. News read by Billy Joey Kolkata, 24th of December 2021. This news is brought to you by V-Shop app for Next General Retail Solutions platform from Rank Tech Solutions Private Limited. India called upon as a strategic partner to Switzerland in the digital era at an exclusive session by the Indian Chamber of Commerce welcoming Dr. Ralph Heckner, Ambassador of Switzerland to India. The Indian Chamber of Commerce, ICC, one of the leading national chambers of India, organized an interactive session with Dr. Ralph Heckner, Ambassador of Switzerland to India today. The session was attended by Mr. Pradeep Surekha, President of ICC, Dr. Rajiv Singh, Director General of ICC, Mr. Umesh Chaudhry, Honorary Consul, Consulate of Switzerland in Kolkata, and Mr. Ameya Prabhu, Vice President of ICC. Mr. Pradeep Surekha, President of ICC, welcomed the esteemed guests and discussed on the close and dynamic relationship between India and Switzerland, and how Switzerland had emerged as a major source of FDI in the Indian market. Mr. Surekha further mentioned that Switzerland was the 11th largest trading partner for India, with a total bilateral trade amounting to $18 billion in the 1920s. The broad-based cooperation between the two countries covered areas including trade, science, education and culture. It is the 12th largest foreign investor in India, with the cumulative investment of $9.3 billion from April 2000 to June 2021. Traditional sectors of Swiss excellence such as engineering, industrial equipment, services, precision instruments, chemicals, pharmaceuticals continue to maintain top positions.
Switzerland was always very close to you, though it took me more than a year to be with you. But let me have a look back on my first year and what I learned being in India. Before taking up my position in Delhi, I heard a lot of things about the Indian administration. And I have to say that what I have met and seen over the last year and a third is exactly the contrary. I have met a very professional administration, not only in New Delhi, but also in the States. And then I have met a lot of politicians and administrators with a getting things done mentality. And I found open doors. You were referring to the many Indian citizens that have been visiting, keep visiting Switzerland. I'm sure the goodwill when it comes to Switzerland is there, but we are also very well represented in Switzerland, not only with Honorary Consul Umesh Chaudhry here in Kolkata. We have one also in Chennai. We have one of the biggest embassies in New Delhi. Since 1915, there is a consulate in Mumbai. Since 1940, there is a Swiss business hub in Mumbai. And since 2010, there is a science consulate, a consulate that is fully dedicated to the collaboration and interactions between the scientific and communities between Switzerland and India in Bangalore. So having a look at and there's Switzerland tourism in Mumbai, and there's the Swiss science, the Swiss cultural promotion entity for Helvetia in Delhi. So we find open doors in India also because we are very well represented in India as a network, and I served in the United States. It can be absolutely compared to what we have in the United States. When I said that I found a professional administration, I'll give you one example between April and June. So during the second wave, which hit us all very hard, all the planned interactions with the Indian administration went on. So there was a health dialogue, there was a financial dialogue, there was a stock taking on our investment relationship, investment protection relationship. We had the last round of our free trade agreement, free trade negotiations in May. We had also two subgroups on goods and another one on services that met virtually in May. We had a phone call of the two foreign ministers, and on top of this, we were cooperating on bringing some relief items from Switzerland and also from 40 Swiss businesses to the Indian people in need. And also that was incredibly professionally done. I was in contact with the additional secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs, with the Deputy Secretary General of the India Red Cross Society, very late in the evening, very late in the night. I received answers within minutes, and also the distribution of the items was done in an incredibly professional way, digitalized platforms where we could see where items went. So I think this is important also for you, because it is one of the takeaways of my first year here, that I have met a professional administration and I have had open doors when it comes to our relations here in India. Now, when it comes to our relations, I think there are two or three things that I would like to share with you. First and foremost, as an ambassador and even as a network, we can do a lot, but this is never sufficient. What is much more important are the people-to-people relations. And I'm here ambassador in a country with which we have incredible people-to-people relations. You were referring to it. We have the biggest visa center in New Delhi, issuing 180,000 visas per year before COVID. The objective is that this will happen again, that we will reach those levels quickly again. But also the Indian embassy in Bern is issuing 50,000 visas. And these are just the visas that are issued on a yearly basis. On top of it, we have quite a number of Indian and Swiss citizens that have multiple entry, 3, 4, 5-year visas. So we are talking about maybe 300,000 people that visit India and Switzerland on a yearly basis. This is absolutely unique and huge. So that is the foundation that we have when it comes to people-to-people relations. People, and we have the luxury and the tradition of direct popular votes. You are organizing the biggest elections of this planet every 4 years. But you can feel that there are some values that we do share. And another thing that we share is the federal system. And that is also the reason why I'm here and why I visit the federal states here in India, because I'm very mindful of the fact that a lot is happening in the federal states. And I also see that there is competition among the federal states. And we have the same competition in Switzerland, and this is a good thing. And each state or each canton is focusing on different things, and I would like to learn which are the strengths that are attractive, are making West Bengal attractive. So this is the one thing. If you have a look at international relations, it is like shifting sands. Everything is moving, is changing, but our relations are incredibly steady. And always have been, and they're steady because of the values that we share and because of the people that go both ways. But then there's one thing why I'm convinced that our relations will only grow in importance. If you have a look at what is important today, that is innovation. So innovation is important for a business. If you want to be a competitive business, then you need to be an innovative one, and you are looking for innovation. If you want to be a successful country, you have to be an innovative country. And innovation is also at the center of geopolitical interactions. What you see between US and China, for example, is a competition about innovation. And India is part and parcel of that geopolitical power equation. And if India wants to have innovation, all India has to do is to pay attention to the relations that India has with Switzerland. Switzerland has been ranked and is ranked as one of the most innovative countries of the world. But me being the ambassador of Switzerland to India, what I have seen is that there are huge pockets of innovation in India. And those pockets, by the way, are much bigger than Switzerland. So 75 years back, Switzerland had innovation, India had little innovation. Today we are in a position where Switzerland is looking to India as an inspiration for innovation. And because of the fact that innovation will only grow in importance, I'm also convinced that our bilateral relations will grow in importance with a cooperation in innovation. So innovation is something that I'm looking forward to. And that is something that I would like to also learn from you, where you see innovation when it comes to West Bengal. Now, you being businessmen and women, we have a very big business community from Switzerland in India. And I will come to the Indian business community in Switzerland after that. My network went through an exercise of mapping the Swiss companies. And there are more than 300 companies in India, and they are located in 5 to 6 states. So there's Maharashtra. I was talking about our presence in Maharashtra for quite some time. The first business they opened in 1851 from Switzerland, and then with a consulate, with a business hub. It is clear that Maharashtra, up to today, is the state where we have most of our businesses in. So half of those 300 businesses are located in Maharashtra. We have an important presence in Tamil Nadu, in Karnataka. So this is this belt in southern India, and then we have quite a strong presence in New Delhi, Haryana, and also in Gujarat. So these states might have also a good investment climate, or they have assets like airports or ports that are important for Swiss businesses. So this is the presence when it comes to the physical presence. And then we also had a look at when they came into India. And they came into India 90% of all the Swiss businesses after 1991. And we had now more than 35 businesses that came in after 2014. So the takeaway that I have there is the Swiss companies are very much receptive to what they see as an improved investment climate. So liberalization at the beginning of the 1990s was a clear signal to Switzerland. India is open for more business. Our Prime Minister, who was at the beginning of already at the beginning of his tenure, making clear that he wanted to attract foreign investments, was also a signal to the Swiss companies. So we had in the last years quite a number of businesses coming into India, about 10% of the presence that we have here today. One last point, where are the Swiss businesses present? Presently you were um, coming up with a whole list where Swiss businesses are present. So the message there is, when it comes to Swiss businesses, you can run, but you cannot hide. They are all over the place. But I would like to highlight maybe 2 or 3 things that I think are of interest to India at this point. One is 29 out of the more than 300 Swiss businesses have an R&D center in India. So innovation is being done on Indian soil for and by Swiss companies. This is something that is this is much more than just investing in a, in a company that is producing things. This is I think the highest grade of investment that you can have. So in Switzerland. We pride ourselves that we have a lot of research and development jobs available. Swiss companies are creating them here in India. Then Make in India or Self-Reliant India. These are 2 policies that the center is pushing. 100 out of the 300 businesses from Switzerland are manufacturing in India, and 70 out of those 100 are exporting their manufactured goods from India to the 4 corners of the world. So the Swiss businesses are contributing to an export-oriented, the more export-oriented Indian economy as well. And last but not least, at the end of the day, it is all about jobs, and jobs at several levels. I was talking about R&D centers, I was talking about manufacturing jobs, but I'm also talking about jobs, for example, for farmers. Agriculture is a big thing in India, and Nestle, for example, that I think is seen more as an Indian company than a Swiss company in India. So this is the best that can happen to a foreign company being seen as an Indian business. Especially, I think Maggi soups are considered an Indian dish at this point. Nestle is investing between 250 and 300 million US dollars and is providing additional 100,000 jobs for farmers in Punjab, Haryana, and in Rajasthan. So this is to give you a little bit a flavor of the investments from Switzerland, where they are present geographically, the lessons learned when it comes to investment climate, and also the sectors where I see that the Swiss businesses are very prominent at this point, and also infrastructure. I forgot, the new Noida airport will be built by Zurich Airport, and that will be the second airport built by Zurich Airport after Bangalore. There's a huge investment opportunity that I perceive, me not being a businessman as you are, when it comes to infrastructure. So to wrap up, I see an incredible potential for even more growth for our 2 countries when it comes to innovation. And when it comes to innovation, especially also IT and digitalization, I see India as a strategic partner for Switzerland in the digital era. Switzerland was one of the first countries when it comes to the industrial wave. We were surfing on top of the industrial wave. We also were able to catch the second industrial wave, that was pharma and chemistry, international financial services as well. But now we are in the digital wave, and our ambition is to be again on top of that digital wave. And if Switzerland wants to be on top of this digital wave, we need India. We need India as a strategic partner in this digital era. And there are quite a number of Indian IT and consultancies, businesses physically present in Switzerland. And I talked to them, and I'd also talked to the Swiss multinational businesses. And the Indian IT and consultancy businesses are very happy in Switzerland because they have major international companies to work with, and the Swiss multinationals are very happy to have Indian IT companies in order to be able to digitalize their businesses now, not in 5 or 10 years, now, thanks to the support and the know-how that Indian businesses are providing. And with that, I would like to close. These are some of my findings after 1 year and 3 months in India. I'm sure I will add some more findings and takeaways after meeting you. I'm very happy to take questions, but I'm especially also here in a listening mode from now on, I would say, because as I said, I would like to learn from you what you see as investment opportunities in West Bengal, in which direction uh, the economy might go, and also when it comes to innovation, where you see potential to work with innovation hubs in West Bengal. And again, thank you that you made time on Christmas, that you made time to join from Mumbai and other far-reaching parts of the great state of West Bengal, which is 90 million people. That has 10 times more people than the state that I'm trying to represent here. Thank you very much.
I think we can open the floor now. Mr. Jalan?
Yeah. So, His Excellency, good afternoon. We were talking about Nestle. So, we've been in the past we've been partners with. In the past, we've been partners with Nestle for over a decade, and I've been a part of the R&D center which they have in Veve and all their facilities in Moga, Haryana, and Samalka. So, a question which comes to my mind is that after this, there's been a lot of research and development by the Indian dairy companies which has happened over the last few years, and especially so for the Indian dairy products and packaged food products. Would you see any potential for Indian dairy companies to look at investments into Switzerland for this purpose and use this as a base to export into the EU and the rest of that region?
Thank you. I cannot speak for Nestle, but the fact that my network is working on a food delegation from Switzerland is maybe an indication what we see as a network and where we see opportunities. And now, living in India, I also see how important food is. And there is an incredible food culture in India. And when it comes to food in Switzerland, because of the fact that so many Indian citizens are traveling and visiting and also working in Switzerland, there is Indian food is very present in Switzerland already. But I'm very happy to follow up with you and include you and your business in our food delegation from Switzerland, and then work on a food delegation to Switzerland. Thank you very much, Mr. Yanes.
Mr. Kapoor?
Yeah, I would like to thank you. Thank you, Excellency. It was great listening to you. As part of the tourism committee of the chamber, the one specific area I thought we could work together with Switzerland as a knowledge partner for responsible tourism. Switzerland has perfected, I would say, the art of responsible tourism in a very planned manner. And if we could share your experience through the chamber for responsible tourism, in West Bengal, because West Bengal has enormous potential for tourism. It's got probably the best, right from mountains to the sea. No other state in the country has that. So we could use your expertise. Maybe we could have some workshops with your, experts. That is something we could work with the chamber to do. The second thing which I wanted to also mention is again knowledge. Since you talked about innovation, see, I'm associated with the Indian Institute of Management in Calcutta, and they have a very active center for entrepreneurship and innovation. Again, through the good offices of the chamber and IIM Calcutta, maybe we could have some workshops on this subject as well. This is what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kapoor. I had the privilege to first visit Darjeeling. So before I came to Kolkata, I was born in the Swiss mountains, but I think I only have seen the real mountains 4 or 5 days back when admiring the Himalayas. So I now understand why you're talking about the roof of the world, because you have mountains on top of the mountains. And that's exactly what I thought. I mean, that kind of panorama is absolutely unique. And if you have a look at the history of Switzerland's tourism, the Jungfrau, that is on the bucket list of so many Indian friends visiting Switzerland, has been in function, I think, now for about 125 years. And if you have shares of that little train that goes up to the Jungfrau, you still get paid dividends. So this is daily tourism. You can go up, you go down, and you have a wonderful experience. So there is definitely a huge potential when it comes only to the Himalayas and what you have as a panorama, and then also the landscape with the tea. And I'm very happy to look into this and share with you our findings. Switzerland tourism is, as I said, physically present in India, in Mumbai. And the objective of Switzerland's tourism industry is now to be a sustainable tourism, also based on the fact that climate change is something that is incredibly real and should not be pushed further, kicked further down the road. So I think also there, if you're talking about responsible tourism, I think this is a little bit what you have in mind, sustainable tourism. I'm sure Switzerland has not the answers yet, but maybe together we might find the answers. I'm also happy to interact with you when it comes to the Institute International Center of Management here in West Bengal.
Thank you. Yes. Good afternoon, sir. This side.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, good afternoon. So my name is Rajesh Kuraria. I'm not in business, but I'm a professional by chartered accountant and working in KPMG. You rightly used the word innovative. That was in my agenda to talk to you. Though we are working with many corporates in Calcutta and around India, many corporates in India in the sectors of FMCG, right, education, healthcare, and infra and engineering are looking for innovation in the sense that they are looking for strategic partnership with foreign companies, maybe in Switzerland, right? Though we are working very closely with our KPMG network firm based out of Switzerland, but I would like to hear from you that how you think that your country can look forward for investment in more so in Bengal, in FMCG sector, infra, engineering, and the consumer goods, which Mr. Jalan has rightly picked up.
Just to understand your question, how we can find Swiss investors in healthcare, engineering, and
Yeah, from innovative perspective,
Uh-huh.
those big corporates are already in Calcutta in India, right?
Yeah.
They have achieved a good size in numbers. Very big companies, many of them are listed companies as well, yeah, in stocks in India. But yes, from innovative perspective, they are looking forward for strategic partnership and innovation to bring in India from foreign companies, maybe based out of Switzerland. So, what is your perspective, and how do you think that Switzerland can help and participate from a strategic partnership of with the companies based out of India?
So based out of West Bengal, I mean,
Yeah, obviously.
yeah, West Bengal. So this can only be done, in my assessment, with a fact-finding mission. As I said, we have a very strong network here. So for me, one first step would be that when I'm visiting again, that I would be accompanied by the head of the Swiss business hub in Mumbai, Switzerland tourism, and also the head of the Swiss Science Consulate, Swissnex in Bangalore. So as a network, we will have an idea of um, what we see and what is possible. The second step, or maybe together, would also be to bring in some Swiss businesses. Because on the one hand, you can say there are few businesses, Swiss businesses in West Bengal, and you can say this is unfortunate, but on the other hand, you also can say that this is an opportunity. And I see that more as an opportunity to assess the investment potential of West Bengal. But for that, you need a little bit more than an ambassador. You need the people that are doing this on a daily basis, and especially then also create a certain buzz when it comes to the Swiss businesses. But the fact that we have so many of the Swiss businesses here means that we don't need to get the attention of the headquarters of those businesses in Switzerland. All we need is the attention of the Swiss businesses that are located in India. And it is easier to join a delegation to West Bengal if you are maybe located in Chennai than in a small village or in a city in Switzerland. So I don't have an answer to your question, but that's how I would that's how I would see the next steps when it comes to Switzerland's relations with West Bengal / India.
Thank you.
Yes. Sir, myself Pradeep Chaudhary from Asian Age newspaper, and I have a question for you. You visited West Bengal for the last couple of days. Is it on?
No, no, that's not.
On, sir. On. So, what are the sectors that you are actually looking for investments in Bengal?
At this point, I'm incredibly open to all sectors.
And
You have heard the president. We are all over the place as a business. So it depends a little bit on what we see at the end in West Bengal. So I did not come to West Bengal with an opinion. I'm here to try to get a first impression and then make up my first opinion.
And post-pandemic, where do you think that the Indo-Swiss bilateral trade would reach up to?
If you have a look at our bilateral relations, Switzerland always looked towards India in difficult times. So our consulate in Mumbai was founded in 1915, 1 year into World War I. And the Swiss business hub in India in Mumbai was founded in 1940, 1 year into the Second World War. Our scientific presence in Bangalore, Swissnex, was founded in 2010, 2 years after the financial crisis. And that is also when Umesh Chowdhury was nominated honorary consul in Kolkata. And now we are in the middle of an unprecedented pandemic. The last one was 100 years ago, and now we are again in a global pandemic. And you heard me what I see in India. I see India as a strategic partner in the digital area, and I see us grow through innovation and bilateral investments. Today, you have 120 Indian businesses in Switzerland. We are talking about an investment relationship that is two ways. So, for me, when it comes to our bilateral relations post pandemic, although we are still in the middle of a pandemic, um, I think we are all looking for new and enhanced partnerships. At least this is also the sense that I have when uh, meeting people in India, reading newspapers in India. Um, India is also looking for enhanced partnerships. It's diversifying bilateral relations, are turning look west and look east policies into act west and act east policies, is engaging in new foreign policy but also economic and innovative uh, partnerships. So I think it is Switzerland is India is looking for enhanced partnerships and new partnerships, and the same is true for Switzerland. I think this is maybe the lesson that we all learned based on the pandemic, that we have to be much more open, much more flexible, and that we have to set some of maybe the, the images that we have and be open for more and for newer things. I hope that I gave you
Thank you.
a partial answer.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, myself Suman Munshi, Chief Editor IBG News. Uh, First of all, guten Tag and viele Glück for Weihnachten. I can point out 2-3 areas where Switzerland can be a very good potential partner to West Bengal as well. Number one is laboratory information management, that R&D. The informatics which drives the laboratory automation in the world. The two major vendors for that one is LabVantage and Labware. They are all headquartered in Kolkata and Salt Lake. Laboratory information management,
Okay.
LIMS. So number one. Number two is third-party inspection, testing, verification. One of the biggest corporate SGS that is again handling in from India, and they're having a big good presence in Kolkata also with a couple of labs. So Swiss standard is paramount in that. So this can be extended when you are having fourth largest economy, and out of that 30 to 40% handled by SGS, then you are in a big business already. And I know myself because I was the Southeast Asia Pacific head for SGS at one point of time. So I can make it insider information that is a very good opportunity. Not only SGS, any Swiss business. The potential, another thing is that is the education, wherein the Swiss people are doing very good in R&D in pharma sector. You're already having Novartis like big pharma giant in your Switzerland headquarters, and their genetic drug discovery lab is there. That lab has been automated by me. So I know again that. So why I'm coming, so the West Bengal, maybe the heavy big industries are yesteryear story. Now the new technology, new business, new innovation, wherein you need the small space but big yield of throughput, that is required here. If you're looking for a big 100 crore, 2000 crore project in a multi-acre land, it's not going to happen immediately here. Let's talk sense. The thing is, you can take a high-tech business wherein the skill sets of Switzerland and West Bengal can be coupled together for the benefit of India-Swiss joint relationship. That's the point where we can work. And another thing, that is your banking. That the Swiss banking, the security things, we are the largest UPI provider globally in India. Now Switzerland can take benefit of that UPI gateway and technology for their banking too. So wherein not only the money in terms of technology and knowledge base we can invest, and Kolkata could be a very good partner for that. These all gentlemen are stalwart in that. I am very much inappropriate to comment on their skill set. I can only admire their work, what they are doing despite of all odds. So what I'm looking at from you, that look from a pragmatic approach to the total problem of Eastern India. We are having minerals, we are having the peoples, but we are lagging some point of time the professional age, which needs to be inducted. That's the thing. So whether we can put a center of excellence through the Swiss thing, the management and others, sir already told about the Indian Institute of, management. So the similar kind of center of excellence, if we can put out for the Swiss administration management and develop the people through workshop and the things, that will be a great opportunity. The next phase could be the mutual investment in both the countries. That's all I want to say, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.